Have you ever wondered about the real Mary Magdalene? For centuries, she's been portrayed in a specific light, often misunderstood and misrepresented. But what if there's a different story? A story hidden in plain sight, woven into the very fabric of history. Today, we're going to unravel the fascinating and often overlooked connection between Mary Magdalene, the luxurious world of ancient textiles, and the color purple, a symbol of immense wealth and power in the Roman Empire. Let's start by setting the scene. The world Mary Magdalene lived in was a bustling hub of trade, and one of the most valuable commodities of that era wasn't gold or silver, but textiles. Specifically, fabrics dyed with Tyrian purple. This wasn't just any purple. This was a deep, vibrant, color-fast dye extracted from the glands of sea snails. The process was incredibly labor-intensive. It took tens of thousands of snails to produce just enough dye for a single garment, making it more expensive than gold. In the Roman world, wearing purple was the ultimate status symbol, legally reserved for emperors, senators, and the absolute elite. So, where does Mary Magdalene fit into this picture? Her name gives us a crucial clue. She's called Mary of Magdala. Magdala wasn't just some random village. It was a thriving city on the shores of the Sea of Galilee, and its Greek name was Tarakia, which means the place of salting fish. Now, this might sound humble, but Magdala was a major industrial center for processing fish from the Galilee, and this industry was likely the foundation of significant wealth for the town. Archaeological discoveries in Magdala have unearthed a first-century synagogue, elaborate mosaics, and ritual baths, all pointing to a prosperous community. It was a town with money. This is where the textile connection gets really interesting. While known for fish, Magdala was also a key player in the textile industry. Its location made it a perfect crossroads for trade routes. Ancient texts, including the Talmud, mention Magdala in relation to its fine wool and dyeing industries. It is highly probable that this fish-assaulting town was also a center for producing and trading high-end textiles, including those dyed with precious colors. Now, let's think about Mary herself. The Gospels describe her as a woman of means. In the Gospel of Luke, it says she was one of several women who supported Jesus and his disciples out of their own resources. This wasn't a small contribution. This was funding an entire ministry. This implies she had independent wealth and control over her own finances, which was highly unusual for a woman in that patriarchal society. Where did this wealth come from, given her hometown's reputation? A very plausible theory is that Mary Magdalene's family was involved in the lucrative business of textiles and dyeing. They might have been merchants, producers, or financiers in Magdala's booming economy. This would explain her financial independence and her ability to be a major benefactor. She wasn't just a follower, she was a patron. This idea challenges the traditional, often impoverished portrayal of Mary. Instead, it paints a picture of a savvy, independent, and powerful businesswoman. She would have understood supply chains, the value of luxury goods, and the management of resources. These are not skills one typically associates with her, but they make perfect sense in the context of her background in Magdala. Let's dig deeper into the symbolism of purple. In the ancient world, purple was more than just a color. It was a statement. It represented royalty, divinity, and immense power. When the Roman soldiers mockingly dressed Jesus in a purple robe before his crucifixion, it was a deeply symbolic act. They were ironically cloaking him in the color of the emperor, the very authority he was seen as challenging, and who was one of the first and most prominent witnesses to the resurrected Jesus. Mary Magdalene. She is the one chosen to announce the most pivotal event in Christianity. This role, the apostle to the apostles, grants her a status of immense spiritual authority. It's a beautiful parallel. Just as purple fabric signified earthly power and royalty, Mary's connection to Jesus and his resurrection cloaked her in a kind of spiritual royalty. Her wealth may have come from the trade of purple dye, but her true importance came from her unwavering faith and her central role in the gospel narrative. Think about the anointing scene. A woman, often identified as Mary of Bethany, but sometimes associated with Mary Magdalene in popular tradition, anoints Jesus with a jar of expensive spikenard perfume. The cost is noted as 300 denarii, full year's wages for a common laborer. This act of extravagant devotion again points to a circle of followers who possessed significant wealth. Whether it was Mary Magdalene or another woman in her circle, It shows that the movement wasn't solely comprised of the poor. It was supported by affluent individuals who believed in the message. By reframing Mary Magdalene as a successful woman from a thriving commercial town, we get a much richer and more complex character. She is no longer just the penitent sinner she was wrongly labeled as for centuries. Instead, she emerges as a leader, a patriarch, and a key figure whose resources were instrumental to the early Christian movement. Her story becomes one of empowerment, influence, and unwavering devotion. This perspective also highlights the vital and often underestimated role of women in the ancient world. We often get a history written by men, about men, but archaeology and a careful reading of the texts reveal that women like Mary Magdalene were not passive bystanders. They were active agents in their society, managing businesses, controlling wealth, and making decisions that shaped history. Her connection to the textile trade, specifically the priceless purple dye, isn't just a historical footnote, it's a powerful metaphor. She dealt in a substance that transformed ordinary cloth into something extraordinary, something fit for kings. In the same way, her faith and her witness to the resurrection transformed the story of a crucified teacher into a global religion. She was a merchant of the material world and a messenger of the spiritual one. So the next time you think of Mary Magdalene, I encourage you to look past the old, tired stereotypes. Picture her not just as a follower, but as a powerful, intelligent, and wealthy woman from the bustling city of Magdala. A woman whose business acumen and financial independence likely played a crucial role in supporting one of the most influential movements in human history. Her legacy isn't just written in ancient scriptures, it's woven into the very fabric of history, colored with the royal, mysterious, and powerful hue of Tyrian purple. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey to rediscover a forgotten part of history. It's amazing what we can learn when we look at old stories with fresh eyes. If you found this interesting, please hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives into hidden history, and share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think. See you next time.